Yeah.
also it's a balance,
It's a
and it's
balance.
not
Yeah.
always as complicated as people like to make it out to be. Some of it is just straight up common sense.
Hmm.
But it is a balance between, because the laws that you pass for small businesses or for people are going to be the same laws that you're passing for large businesses, unless you stipulate that. It's one of the common tactics that's used in the political sphere now, where you have like, oh, we're going to reduce taxes so that small business owners can have more opportunity. Yes, but if you're reducing taxes, like corporate taxes that businesses have to pay for, that includes large businesses as well. That's actually where they're going to take a huge effect from that. So on one hand, in what you're saying, just to keep it specific on the issue, yeah, I agree with you. There needs to be a balancing act. But on the other hand, we have to come to the realization that a lot of the laws that are passed, or these policies that are passed with the fact that they affect everyone. Like the copyright law, for example, it's meant to protect people who make inventions, but
Hmm.
it can be weaponized depending on how people argue or utilize that thing.
That's technically patent, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, sorry, I mixed the two. They're similar, so I mixed them
They are
constantly.
quite similar. Yeah. The their copyright is a little weird because I think the unfortunate part about copyright law. So now we're kind of divulging the conversation, but the unfortunate part about copyright law is there's been a number of corporations that have engaged in filibustering and lobbying and basically fucking over the law as much as they can to their own financial benefit, right? So copyright law has literally turned into this amorphous, like forced thing, this blob that it really shouldn't have been in the first place. Like when you read over when the copyright law was put forth, it was very clear. Like the objective is to promote people creating works, right? Like that is the whole point, is you need to provide some type of protection for people that are making a work. They need to have something on the books that allows them to do that, right? But instead, and one of the main corporations that did this was Disney. Disney has engaged over and over again in trying to fuck over that law as much as they can, literally extending it to some astronomical amounts of like decades
Yeah.
after the death of the original artist. And you're like, holy shit, right? And notice patents haven't done that at all. Patents actually have a whole category of stuff that makes it a lot more standardized, I guess, right? Like, for example, you can file a patent, and the point of a patent is for you to declare this is a thing that I'm allowed to make money with that other people can't make money with, right? However, you're not allowed to do that in bad faith. So for example, if you file a patent but you don't do anything with it for several years, other people can literally file a lawsuit and have a judge force them to be able to use the patent even though it's your patent, right? And so patents don't give you this magic ability to like prevent other people. They also have
No.
reasonable time constraints. Like there's patents on medicine which are on the order of, I want to say, like 7 years. And then there's patents on technologies which are typically more like 20 or 25 years. Like the whole thing
Yeah.
is very sophisticated, right? But copyright, it's just been beaten into this thing that's not very useful anymore, and it doesn't promote the thing that it was designed to.
See, part of the reason why I mix up copyright and patents a lot is
Hmm.
because they're really similar in what they're trying to do. At least
Yeah.
the objective of what they're trying to do is similar,
Yes.
is pretty much the same. They're both
Yeah.
trying to acknowledge this is something that was created by someone, whether it be a creative work, whether it be a new technology or technique,
Yep.
that someone is trying to have credit for, or proper allocation of credit for. But the thing is that with patents and with copyrights, they both have the aspect of abuse. With patents, for example, medicine is actually a great example of this.
Hmm.
The original the patent for the original insulin, like
Hmm.
the original version of insulin when they first made it, that was sold for like $1 because the
Mm.
scientists said, "Hey, this should be for the benefit of humanity."
Mm.
Now, that first iteration of it wasn't perfect. It had
Hmm.
issues with it had to be refrigerated, a number of other issues that we that need that insulin has,
Hmm.
but it was still a monumental thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that one weakness of not weakness, but one problem that can occur via the patent system is that some companies will iterate on something, meaning that they will improve or add something new to it that improves or changes it,
Yep.
and then patent that, and then every so
Yes.
often just
Yes.
update that continuously,
Yeah, and
and
that's
that's where
that's an abuse that
yeah,
needs to be undone. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not disagreeing with you in terms of like your position on that. I think we align pretty strongly. I'm just
Yeah.
noting that sometimes these things happen, and one common thing that's happening is the abuse of these systems that we already have. We
Yeah.
already have the protections and legal systems that are supposed to give protections for the everyday person,
Hmm.
not just in terms of copyright and patents and monopolies, but also in terms of a large sector of our everyday lives that people either A, aren't
Hmm.
enforcing,
Yeah.
or B, they just are abusing in some way via some nuanced language.
Yeah. Yeah. The patents need to be updated. Certainly, there's literally a an industry called patent trolls, which are corporations that buy up patents from other companies, not because they're interested in actually litigating, but because they're interested in having the threat of litigation. Because so many corporations are more than willing to fork over a few million just to not have an issue in anything that they're doing, right? So, like, Google wants to do a thing and someone wrote some patent that's vague and stupid and is probably not even appropriately defendable, but Google could pay 200,000, and then that company goes sure and writes them a dumb certificate that has no meaning effectively, because if you were to go to court it would be overthrown, right? And yet and so the point is that this industry continues to exist, right? And it's like, and that's harder to fix because how do you fix the problem of corporations refusing to defend themselves when it's financially beneficial for them to just turn over and let the law, precedents be in a shitty state, right? Like we expect the law to be developed in a good state, but that isn't going to happen when you have people that look at the cost and go, yeah, well, it's cheaper for me to just pay the president 10 million. I'm not going to, like, why the fuck am I going to fight that? I don't care about freedom of speech, right? Like, yeah, so anyway, that's another matter, I guess. I'm kind of jumping around. But copyright needs to be severely fixed. Like, holy shit. There's no way that Steamboat Willie should have ended its copyright fucking a few years ago. That's just nuts. That's insane, right? That copyright lasted that long. That's just insanity. So copyright needs to be put on terms of like patents and stuff, right? Like it needs to be much more appropriate, you know? Like I can understand someone obtaining an indefinite patent, or sorry, an indefinite copyright for something that they don't want published, right? Like I have a thing, I'm not publishing it, right? I don't want anyone else to have it, you know? But someone to have a patent like indefinitely, permanently for, beyond all time, that just seems insane to me. That's insane to me that something like that, like, why isn't it that writers can't write about, Marvel and comic books and fucking, other shit? Like, that's just crazy to me that all these artists are just excluded from, whatever stories it is that they want to tell, because we have just these asinine time frames. Like, everyone, yes, you should be able to make money, right? But, like, my God, like, 75 years, 100 years, these are fucking stupid amounts of numbers, And in basically generations of people will never in their lifetime ever be allowed to make stories about, their favorite superhero as a kid or whatever. They're just never even allowed it, right? Yeah.